And we're back. Episode 12, A Few Good Mics. As always, you got me, Thomas Mooney, your host, and then Mike Walter.
Yep.
And then first episode with the new guy.
Hey,
Garb.
guys. Name's Alex. People are going to probably call me Garb on here a lot, so we'll just keep it at that.
Anything more about yourself, Garb?
Long-time listener since episode 2. I cannot find episode 1 on iTunes at all. That must be a mystery episode or something like that.
It is. It's MIA.
So,
It's SoundCloud's fault right there.
former high school all-star athlete. Tried to transition that into college and didn't pan out so well. So,
And
Right.
Beersby player.
what was that?
And Beersby player.
Yeah, Beersby. I mean, I kind of transitioned my athletic ability into drinking, so that's what I do on the weekends.
You know, that's a solid resume right there.
Yo, favorite teams? We got
What are my
Yeah.
favorite teams?
Yeah, every league, list them off.
All right, so football, born and bred, Green Bay Packers. Basketball, you got to go with the Bucks and 6 all the way. Give us a few years, we'll be there. We almost had your Raptors this year, but some shady calls, some questionable plays. We're going. Badgers all the way for college. I don't like Duke. I don't care for a lot of those big-name schools out of the SEC. I claim to be a Brewers fan. However, I don't really follow through on the sport, so I more or less just watch the playoffs. Hockey, never really followed it. I'll watch it on the playoffs. I feel like Mike's trying to convert me to a Nashville fan. I don't know. I know a few guys' names. There's Subban, Johansson. So I know 2 people.
there you go. It's better than none.
Otherwise, I like the USA and the Olympics. I'm a big curling guy. I get into that. But otherwise, kind of a jack of all trades. So
All right.
don't expect anything out of me for soccer. I'll be honest on that.
Are you Ronaldinho or Messi guy?
I kind of more, I don't know. I'd probably have to go with the Messi, but ultimately I lie with the Milwaukee Wave when it comes to soccer. So
That's a solid pick.
well, I don't know what else you want me to talk about.
Oh,
I didn't really expect to give like a bio on myself.
got our bios on a webpage.
Otherwise, just hit me up at GarbDizDaddy03 on Twitter. If you're already following A Few Good Mics, you'll see my name on there a few times. Just read the bio there. That gives a better idea of what's up. So,
There you go.
oh, and I'm an avid WWE fan, so I'm bringing that to the show.
Fan of Rey Mysterio.
Well, he's been gone for a while, so we can do a little 619 talk later on.
You got to diversify the show a little bit. All right, so, well, thanks for that, Garb.
Hey, thank you.
Let's dive in. We just watched Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Cavs got smacked around again. Nothing surprising there. So Mike's not feeling too happy.
You know, they also got smacked around last year. Would they lose that one game like 113-77? Second game 2?
I don't know about last year.
I will pull it up then while you're being an idiot.
Well, talking about last year to this year, Steve Kerr just said that last year they were up 2-0 and they know what that result was, so they're not taking it lightly. They're going back to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to take a game. There's no way that they're going to get swept in this finals.
So game 1 last year, 89-104, so a beatdown. Game 2 is 77-110. That's a huge beatdown. And then game 3, the Cavs won 120-90. So,
Well,
but
yeah.
all I'm saying is, you know, it's still not crazy for them to lose that much. Obviously, they have KD, but did you watch the whole game? Because in the beginning of the game, LeBron did what he wanted. And I think what kills the Cavs is when the Warriors start hitting threes, the Cavs like start to panic and they try to hit them on their own, and they can't hit them, and then they're playing catch up, and all they do, if you go like the third quarter into the fourth, all they want to do is shoot threes. And that's like when LeBron can drive and get a first or two, like the Warriors will miss. They don't miss a lot, but they will miss. You'll get your chances. And don't take a three unless it's a super clean three. Like, I don't get it. They panic. They have their way in the paint, and then they panic when they start to get a couple threes, and then they'll shoot them. The gap just widens every time.
Like, how many times after KD or Steph just start hitting pull-up threes, Kyrie just tries to go right back at it and do the same thing.
Or Love, and that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't ever equal out, because then they miss a couple and they're just hitting them on the other end. Like, they'll miss them on the other end, but then the Cavs are still taking shit shots. Things just stick to your game plan, like drive the paint with LeBron or whatever you got to do. Don't keep taking these wild ass shots, because you can't say LeBron didn't do what he wanted in the first half of that game.
No, especially because they were in transition a lot too, and he's just, I mean, no one wants to get in LeBron's way, really. So,
right, but they just get so off, like, game plan.
Well, yeah, going along with that too is, for most of the game they were there. I mean, you look up and it was a 3-point game, 5-point game. They were there, but then, like you're saying, like, they just get flustered because a few threes get hit. Which, yeah, I mean, that can really kill momentum, but just stick to what you're doing because it's working.
The game plan, exactly. Yeah, I think it's exactly it, and they panic, and I think it's hard not to, because especially when you're not at home and the crowd's just going, and you just feel like you got to get points up and you got to do it before they blow you out. It's just like natural to just want to do that.
Well, and just in general for 3 points in game 2 alone, I mean, Golden State was 18 for 43. Cleveland was 8 for 29. I mean, that's a lot of shots that are going up. Cleveland's not known for shooting that 3-ball.
And that's what I'm saying. They get pushed them away from their game. They play such a fast pace because the Warriors will just run it down and dump it in, like from 3 land or even like half court. And then the Cavs try to do it, and it's just not their game. That's not what they're good at.
Well, going off from that half court, what did you think about that call on Curry? That shooting foul that he was going across half court on?
I don't know.
That, I mean, it's by the rule, that's a good call, but I think that they got to address that in the offseason, because there's a lot of players now who, once they feel contact, they're just throwing the ball in the air. Because, I mean, it's smart. You want to get to the free throw line, but when you're coming across half court, you shouldn't be thinking of chucking the ball up right away.
Yeah, well, if you're just going to play that lazy defense and just like hack away at a guy instead of running back, you deserve to.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I guess that makes sense. And there was a few times there where after Cleveland would make a shot that they did not get back on defense. I mean, it was at least 2 or 3 times that Golden State just threw the ball down the court and just got layups because they literally turned around and started walking down the court.
Well, I think it gets worse towards the end because, like, same thing. They just run it down, shoot the 3, and get it. So then the Cavs run it down, shoot the 3. It's just you're just running back and forth. Like, everyone's tired. Cavs aren't used to that kind of ball. It's super fast pace, and then they're gonna slack on defense. And that's where it's gonna show, and it shows on the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The Cavs are gonna go home. They're gonna get at least one. I think like the Warriors will have a harder time shooting there, just because it's not bad, but like
it's an away game.
It's a new your stadium, but I think that helps the Cavs, and I think they get at least one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you said Cavs in 6, so you better hope they run off.
Could happen. Could happen. You said Montreal to the Cup. What about that?
Yeah, well, we're not talking about that right now, okay?
We're talking about round 1 knockout.
We're not talking about that right now. But, I mean, Game 3, they better hope Kyrie shows up too, because he was not good.
Yes, I noticed that too. And he was driving and getting in the paint fine, but he just was putting up some kind of bad shots. Usually, like especially last year's finals, I helped the Cavs so much because Kyrie was phenomenal. He was phenomenal, dude, and he's just kind of lackadaisical looking. And like, it's got to be so hard, you know. At least like if Steph's having an off night, you got KD, Clay, or Green to step up. You know, if LeBron's having a bad night, you better hope Kevin Love pulls in his best game of the season.
J.R. Smith.
Yeah, JR.
He's invisible too.
He's got no help. If Kyrie has a bad game, LeBron can do whatever he wants. There's no way they win against a solid team like that.
So, I mean, Kevin Love had a good game too, but it's like when Kevin Durant, he had another 30-some point. He scored 33. He almost had a triple-double. He had 5 blocks too.
5 of the 7 blocks.
You see, Braun had a triple-double, and it was like he tied for the most ever.
8th finals triple-double.
Yeah, and the next people after that were only at 2.
Well, when you played 7 in a row, I mean, you're going to get there.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not taking away from the stat there, but he has played at 7 finals in a row. That's
a feat in itself.
That's a minimum of 28 games. We know that he's gone to game 6 and 7 there a few times, so yeah, a lot of chances.
That's true.
But
and then
speaking of triple doubles too, I mean, him and Curry first time since 1970, since opposing players got a triple double in the finals, going back to Lou Alcindor and the Bucks.
The old Buck.
Hey, I'll bring him in when I get a chance to. But actually, that game was an Eastern Conference Finals game, not a finals game. But either way.
And Klay Thompson finally started hitting some shots too.
Yeah,
so
he came out finally.
So and then it just like and they start hitting them from like 2-3 steps behind the line.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, that's just not fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's going back to what you both mentioned. It's like there's no way that Steph, Kevin, Clay, and Green, you'll get maybe one who's going to have a bad game. You're not going to have more than that. Where
exactly
LeBron's pretty much by himself.
Exactly.
And you can't take a 3-headed monster. You just assume one of them's going to play bad. At 1-on-3, you're not going to win. Not unless LeBron just comes out literally doing anything, but it's going to be tough.
Interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see that. I mean, LeBron's like the most talented player, obviously, but the best player on the court the first 2 games has been KD. So
yeah, he has.
So him performing, I think, yeah. Can't hate on him, Mike. Can't do it.
Well, I think it's a lot fucking easier to be the best player on the court when you have a surrounding cast that's incredible. You know, when you shut down, you know, nobodies. Not to say that Kevin Love's a nobody, but you know, J.R. Smith ain't no Klay Thompson. No, like when you have that much talent around you, it's obviously way easier to do everything. Think about just passing alone to get an open shot.
Yeah, because it forces players to respect the other people.
Appears to be the best player in the court, but like I told you before, you know, first I mean you could probably argue LeBron in the game, at least the first half for sure. He was doing whatever he wanted, and KD had a mediocre first half. But anyways, like I've said before, dude, put James Harden in the same spot that KD is. Not going to be like an A+, but he's going to perform at an A level. I guarantee you. John Wall, same thing. Like you just put a decently to top of the line player there with the talent around them, they're going to be good, dude. And it might not be the Kevin Durant role that always gets 35 points, but they're going to have a great player, one of the 4 being what you would say the best player on the court because of the passing, what's going on around him and everything else.
That's why I went there.
Top tier defense gets a steal or whatever, and then, you know, just makes you look that much better. and put you in the best player on the court, even though it's the rest of the defense helping you out. You know what I mean? Swap the roles.
Yeah.
LeBron James is where Kevin Durant is. You going to tell me that LeBron James wouldn't be the most best player on the court?
Wasn't saying that he wouldn't be.
I'm just saying your argument sucks.
Well, it's not my fault.
It is your fault. It's your argument, Oklahoma City basketball boy.
It's true. I thought I'd rep the KD tonight. I got the warm-up shirt.
Back when he was actually an honorable man.
Ah, shut up.
Okay.
You got to stop. Just because your boy LeBron won't be winning a title this year.
Yeah, same as Montreal.
So we're talking NBA. We're not at the NHL yet.
Tell you what, the Blue Jays ain't winning it either. The Brewers got a better shot right now.
Hey, right now
Skip Bayless.
We got a top 5 farm system right now for the Brewers. Let's just hope that you know how to utilize it.
They'll manage to piss away my hopes at the end of the season. I have faith.
Oh, that's how it always is. They give you a great, usually May, June, July, and then August comes around and it just starts slowly dying.
Don't want to be in the top of the MLB standings right now. Because that means you're going to slump when you need to be at the top of the MLB standings.
See, that's why the Jays are in a perfect position right now. They're sort of they're bad now, but then they go on a run and then they're good at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then Joey's going to go and piss somebody off, and he's going to be on the DL because he's going to get beat up by a pitcher.
Yeah, well, it's probably after he blasts a home run and just starts.
At least he gets the run. At least he gets the run.
That's true.
But
he got clocked in the face last year. That was great.
Hey, he took that hit and went right back at him.
Like a man. Doesn't matter, dude.
He's right back at him. He's fine. Took that hit like a champ.
He did, but it was still fun to see him. That was a good hit. That was way better than the Bryce Harper fight.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, because he landed a solid punch.
Harper should have threw his bat at the guy.
Harper,
if we're being honest here,
should learn how to throw.
God, the comparison of seeing him throw his helmet to 50 Cent throwing the first pitch was just perfect.
Was funny. Just side by side, that was great.
Yeah. Going off of that, what's your thought on Posey staying behind the plate? Do you think he did it because of risk an injury, or do you think that he just wasn't aware of what was
I thought that Bryce Harper, when he got hit and he kind of stared him down, but then he kind of ripped out there pretty quick.
He did, but there was a lot of time where Posey just stood there watching. I mean, the dugouts were cleared by the time he started moving. I just don't know if he's thinking that it's not smart because of his recent injuries, or if he just wasn't aware of what was really happening until he.
I think it was neither. I think he knew what he was doing. Just, I'm not going to defend this guy right now.
No, and I don't care. I just think it's something to kind of just throw off each other.
It wasn't like he was going after the Mad Bum.
No, Mad Bum would have landed a few punches there.
Mad Bum would have held his own on that mound. I guarantee it.
I don't know if Harper would. He might still be on the ground.
Don't mess with the Mad Bum.
Yeah, he stayed in the dugout. Being a pitcher,
That's true.
that's smart. There's no reason for you to go out there and put yourself in a position to get hurt.
I'll end up pulling a hammy.
Yeah. What's the status on their appeals? I know they were appealing them. I haven't heard anything since then.
Harper got it reduced a game, and then the pitcher stayed the same. 6 games.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a weird transition from the finals to Bryce Harper.
Hey, so it was just kind of
it's natural.
And it was started by the guy that said he doesn't follow baseball.
Yeah, Mike.
That was not me.
I know some stuff, but like wins above replacement. I mean, I don't know what that stat means.
Yeah,
Sure.
I couldn't tell you.
But no, I don't know. I mean, Game 3 will be interesting. I mean, you guys know I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but I'm thinking that Cleveland figures it out, and I think they end up taking Game 3.
3-4,
Yeah, because
6 game.
what next week when we for the next podcast, the series might be over.
I mean, I wouldn't be against that.
But
either way, it's time for the NFL here.
Yeah, I'm ready to see that come back around.
Yeah. Speaking on that, something that had come up last weekend was Mike Vick retiring as a Falcon, signing that one-day contract.
Okay.
Well, there's talks about him signing that one-day contract. I don't know if it happened or not.
I don't even like that.
Why not?
As a Falcon fan, I wouldn't want that. You screwed your organization over.
No, he helped them get Matt Ryan.
Screwed your organization over.
You could say he helped the franchise more than anything.
Based on what? What has Matt Ryan done? If he doesn't win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter.
Well, he got them there.
Doesn't matter if you don't win it.
And hey, if Michael Vick is never, they still might have Bobby Petrino as the coach and be like 5-11 every year. But now Bobby Petrino, he had that motorcycle accident. He got fired from Arkansas. The future we all wanted to see from Bobby Petrino lived out. So thanks a lot, Mike Vick. I say thank you.
I mean, where else is he supposed to retire, Mike? Jets?
No, just retire with whatever team you finish with.
He's supposed to retire as Steeler, where he's most known.
Well, no,
look
at
clipboard,
what he did.
Clipboard for Big Ben.
Not that I'm not a big running quarterback type of guy. I mean, I love when Rodgers can extend a play out of the pocket, but I'm all about passing first. And Vic was not like that at first, but he did revolutionize the idea of what a quarterback is capable of doing. I mean, really before him, there was Tarkenton and Cunningham that were established running quarterbacks.
And even, well, sort of Steve Young to a point too, but still.
Yeah.
Steve Young was he threw to like outside really big.
He also had JR for a little bit, so I mean that's really nice to have.
He's also playing in the CFL, isn't he?
Who?
Oh, I'm thinking of Vince Young.
Vince Young, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Didn't he just sign in the CFL though?
Up in Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Saskatchewan Roughriders in the green and white.
Let me know.
Nice.
All right. So
wait, did you see Rob Ryan and Rex Ryan get into a brawl in Nashville?
I just saw that on my Twitter about an hour ago. I just saw a video of that.
It was kind of a crap video. I didn't really see much. But those are the guys you go to a bar and they're just rowdy as hell looking to fight somebody.
I can see Rob just turning up, throwing his body around. It's a big man right there.
It reminds me of Nate a little bit.
Oh, taking shots at the suspended guy.
Yeah, well, you know, when I missed one, he took plenty of shots at me. So
yes,
you got to be able to take what you can dish. You know.
I don't remember, Nate. I know you're listening to this, but I don't remember what you look like. We met back in 2014 before Freak Fest. You were wearing a Packer jersey. So
there you go. That's our rip on Nate segment while he's not here.
I don't got anything to really throw at him.
He's a loser.
All right, Mike. Are your Preds coming back or what? It's 2-1. Are they going to tie up the series or no?
Absolutely, they're going to tie it up. I think the home ice advantage is going to be huge. Why are you showing me a picture of that?
Forsberg and Yossi, dude.
So, I mean, one could argue that this series is a lot like the Predators-Ducks series. Because I feel like if you watch that series as a whole, frankly, the Ducks were the better team. And they, Rene stood on his head. But here, that was the situation in games 1 and 2, where Matt Murray was really good. really good, and so were the Penguins. And Rene took a vacation, the same boat that Beckham and the Giants receivers were on. Rene was on that before the game. Totally shit the bed, dude. Played horrible.
Yeah, he was trash.
And that's huge because they have such a good defense that if he's not like it, you could meet a mediocre goalie and be okay back there. But he was just garbage. Like he let in horrible stuff. When his blocker side is notorious for getting beat. Top cheese. But he also let in like shit goals. The one where he's hugging the post and it should be just sealed up and it just kind of dribbles in through his glove. The one where
game 2,
one shot in the whole second and third period from the hash mark top of the circle and it goes in. Like, dude, you're trash. But obviously, like home ice, the Predators came back and dominated, but that should have been the score in game 1 for sure. I mean, they dominated the whole game.
Yeah, what was it, like 37 minutes where they didn't get a shot off?
Yeah, they held them to 11 shots that game, I think. It was like tied the lowest in like NHL history.
They still score like, what was it, 4 goals?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
It's
dude.
awful.
He was a sieve. They have the offensive firepower, like, even without Johansson and File in the lineup, they still have it.
Because I'm still amazed that it's like with the Penguins, like on their power play, they have, what was it? Schultz is, you could say, the weak link on there. But they Crosby, Malkin, and Kessel all on the same line. That's just like, how do you stop that?
Malkin's been getting really chippy.
I like the back and forth with Subban and Crosby.
Yeah, it's good. I don't like it when they get Subban all riled up, though, because I feel like he's kind of a loose cannon.
You need that sometimes. You gotta keep yourself
sometimes, but when it's a game like where goals are super important and he gets all reckless and then he lets one up.
Yeah, he'll take some dumb penalties too.
Yeah, he's either like really, really good or just totally reckless and causing goals, essentially. But that's what you get, That's a guy that can turn the table either way. So,
yeah, he's still a guy you want on your team. So, wish I had him on my team.
Where is your team, dude?
Playing golf. Playing freaking golf.
I did see a rumor from one of those stupid. I don't know if you guys follow it on Twitter. It's like MLB trade rumors. There's one that's NHL trade rumors. I think they just throw shit out there. But it's said because people think that they open the door for Ovechkin to be traded, being that they can't ever get past the Penguins, and they're just going nowhere right there. Plus, they got cap issues this coming season. That they could potentially trade Ovechkin, and there was the trade rumor said Ovechkin to Montreal, but I don't think that'll ever play out.
They'd have to give up. Jeez, they'd have to give up so much. If you're Montreal, you go after Tavares, and that's it. I'm on that bandwagon.
I'd rather have Tavares than Ovi anyway.
I mean, Tavares is going to get traded. I'm marking that in permanent marker. I'm writing it down.
Where are you marking it?
Maybe on the wall here.
Do it, dude.
Sign it. Date it.
Just throw it up on your wall. Then when he gets traded, you'll be like, yeah, I did that. And then they'll be like, how do we know you didn't do it after? And you're like, well, you should just have to take my word for it.
Here's the date. You can't learn how to read. Yeah, so
you wanted to bring in some WWE, dude. Let's hear it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Right. I don't know where to bring it in. Yeah, it was Extreme Rules. Overall, I mean, not a bad show. Extreme Rules for those of you who don't really follow W too much. As the pay-per-view says, it's not standard stipulated matches. So chairs, tables, kendo sticks, stuff like that gets used. Or there's submission-only type matches. Today, I'd say overall the pay-per-view was like a B plus. I mean, it was interesting, but some of the matches kind of got predictable and got strung out longer than needed. Well, the first match that I watched, I missed the first one, but the first one was the Intercontinental match between Dean Ambrose and The Miz. And anyone who follows WWE knows that Miz doesn't really play by the rules. He does what he needs to do, put himself forward, which some people like. I mean, when you got a title on the line, you're going to do what you got to do. But when you're going up on the ropes like he did and asking for his wife, Maurice, I mean, I know you guys don't really know what's really going on with this, but he's asking her to slap him so that the ref makes it think that Dean Ambrose is the one telling her to do this. And in this match, typically, in a standard match, if you get disqualified, the champion holds his title. This match, if you got disqualified, you lost the title. So The Miz was doing what he could. He pushed him into the ref, kind of did some sly stuff that way. And at one point, he took the turnbuckle pad off. And I mean, that's The Miz. That's what you kind of understand with him. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to see that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, 7-time champion. Who really wants to follow that kind of stuff? I never liked The Miz, as you can tell I'm biased towards it. Ultimately, he did win. He started jawing off during the after show that he won, and that's all that matters. But really, I think it was just kind of a poorly thought out match in that manner. Followed up with that was a mixed tag match. Lasted whole 6 minutes. Really was no excitement there. There was just some drama going on the former Raw shows between Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks. Ultimately, Sasha Banks won. But, I mean, like I said, that didn't really last much long there. Kind of a limited match. Mixed tag matches don't really go that long anyway because the women fight the women, the men fight the men. So something happens, next thing you know, it's a quick turnaround. Followed that, there was a guitar solo. And then my internet cut out, so I think I listened to that. But Samson, I mean, from what you said, what he played, the whole 30 seconds that I got to listen, hey, not bad, but and then I lost internet connection. The one match I was looking forward to was the Raw Women's Championship match, kendo stick on a pole between Alexa Bliss and Bayley. So story behind this, so Bayley lost her title to Alexa Bliss previously, former pay-per-view, and they were kind of going back and forth, and Alexa Bliss was making fun of her, kind of calling her weak and poking at like having no friends or no allies and making fun of her family and pretty much just humiliating her on shows. And she's every Monday night on Raw, something would happen and she'd start beating her with a kendo stick. I don't know if you guys know what kendo sticks are. They don't feel good. They hurt. There's actually a few videos of her having some pretty bad marks on her back. Now, yes, I know that wrestling is scripted and it's pretty much like a soap opera, but the stuff they're doing out there still is real. So even though it's for show, when they're getting hit with this stuff, they're getting hit. But so that match was pretty interesting. I mean, Bayley got to the kendo stick first. The way it was set up was on the one turnbuckle in the corner of the ring. There was a pole, probably about, 12 feet in the air, so you could climb to the top of that turnbuckle and grab the stick. Bayley knocked it off, but she didn't want to use it. She blocked Alexa from going after it. And when she got the stick, she hesitated, and then Alexa just beat her down. She hit her 8-9 times in the back with that thing, and I mean, she finished her off pretty good. So she won. Like I said, I was looking forward to that one just because, one, it's a women's match, so it was nice to see them doing some interesting stuff because they don't get a lot of these extreme matches. I mean, there's a women's ladder match coming up later this year. It's going to be the first one ever, so that'll be interesting. But so Alexa kept her title as a women's champ. Another interesting match was a tag team steel cage match between the Hardy Boys and Cesaro and Sheamus. You two have had to have heard of the Hardy Boys at some point in your
JJ
younger
Hardy.
years. Not JJ Hardy. Matt and Jeff Hardy.
I used to watch wrestling back in the day.
See, Matt and Jeff, they were gone doing their thing. They came back during WrestleMania this year. And that's when they won the titles, was during the ladder match then. But the stipulation for this cage match was both teammates had to escape the cage by either climbing out or going through the door and touching the ground. Jeff got out first. At one point, Cesaro was actually holding him in the air, hanging, because Cesaro is quite a man-child, really strong. So Jeff got away and was down, but what he did is he left Matt alone in the cage. He was kind of getting beat up pretty bad. But Jeff came back, did a flying I can't remember what the move is now. He jumped from the top of the cage and landed on both of them. So Jeff was done. I mean, Jeff was literally laying on the ring, just out. And Cesaro and Sheamus started climbing out. Matt had to carry Jeff out of the ring through the door, and ultimately they lost because Jeff re-entered himself into the match. But by him leaving early, he kind of put Matt in a bad position, and he had to come back and help, or they would have lost. But it's kind of cool to see the brothers coming back and doing a cage match. It was the first one in many years. And just the fact that you couldn't put someone in a submission move or do a pin. I mean, it's changes the stakes a little bit. But so we got new tag titles there, Cesaro and Sheamus. And they've been doing their thing for a while now. It'll be a good reign. I'll give them a while on that. There was a cruiserweight match between Austin Aries. He's from Milwaukee, so hometown boy.
There you go.
He got beat up pretty good, though. Neville came in and retained his championship. That was a submission match only. So, I mean, you could get disqualified, but you couldn't pin someone with submission. And Aries actually got Neville to submit, but he submitted outside of the ring, so it did not count. And after that, he got a little hyped up, did a flying dive out of the ring, hit the barricade, and Neville ended up pulling him back in and hitting the rings of Saturn on him, and that was a pretty good finish there. But, so Neville kept that title. The last match, which was the Fatal 5-Way between Wyatt, Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Roman Reigns, didn't really get to see much of the first part. But as typical they're typically Fatal 4-Way matches. Here there was a fifth. You get a little bit of an alliance built up. So Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt were doing their thing. At one point, Bray Wyatt had a chair, and he could have hit Finn Balor, or Samoa Joe and hit Finn Balor. So they kind of did their thing to start the match out. And then once Bray Wyatt tried to go for a pin, then Samoa Joe got pissed. And obviously, I mean, when you're in a Fatal 5-Way, you go for yourself. So kind of every shit hit the fan after a while. It looked like Roman Reigns was going to beat Seth Rollins. But when everyone came in, literally there was Bray Wyatt almost hit Sister Abigail. And then Roman Reigns came in for a spear. Next thing you know, Samoa Joe put Finn Balor in the camel clutch, and he won. So we'll be seeing him go against Brock Lesnar next pay-per-view for the Universal Championship. I was kind of disappointed not to see Jinder Mahal or Randy Orton, but I think we'll be seeing that in 2 weeks. We got Money in the Bank in St. Louis, so we'll see what kind of matches we get there. Ladder matches. It'll be exciting.
All right, awesome. There's the Extreme Rules recap. I liked it. See, I hadn't watched wrestling since probably Goldberg the first time around when he was actually good.
Goldberg.
Wasn't that like years on years ago?
Well, he just came back recently.
When John Cena was in his rapper phase.
Oh, that was the great days.
When the Undertaker was still the Undertaker.
Back when he was making fun of Rikishi and the Big Slow and
Scotty Too Hottie.
Oh God! What was it? The Hurricane and his.
The Hurricane, dude! He came out there in like that green and black jumpsuit, just wild.
And his friend that looked like He was like a mascot outside of McDonald's.
Oh, that were some good years. But yeah, Goldberg. He actually had he fought Brock Lesnar back at WrestleMania in April, and Brock Lesnar won. Goldberg had the Universal title for a few months there, and it was a good match. It was kind of like a rematch of their fight. I think that was WrestleMania 22. I don't know.
22.
But, no, I mean it's kind of cool. There's bringing back some older people. I mean, when the Hardy Boys came out at WrestleMania, I wasn't expecting that, but it's always interesting. The pay-per-views, they always throw a pretty good spin in it. See what happens. Like I said, they got the women's ladder match coming up, so it never happened.
Is that a bra and panty fight?
Nope. Well, I mean, they already wear pretty much anything. Who knows?
Those used to be pretty good.
Otherwise, yeah, that's what I got for Extreme Rules. John Cena wasn't there.
I tuned into Raw a couple weeks ago, and it was nice to see a familiar face. I saw Mickie James back in the ring.
Yeah, I'm trying to. She came back sometime last year. I can't remember when it was, but yeah, she'd been gone for a while. I think it was 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it's a lot of the older, like Kurt Angle came back, and he's now the Raw general manager.
Okay.
Kurt Angle.
Does he still suck or no?
Well, when his music plays, that's what everybody says.
That's always funny.
Yeah. But, yeah. So you'll hear more about WWE. If it happens this week, you'll hear about it next podcast. Otherwise, like I said, Money in the Bank 2 weeks in St. Louis. So.
Yes, man.
All right. Well, there you go. We'll let's transition into our 2 minutes here. How about you guys? What do you guys think? Mike, you're up first.
2 minutes. I wasn't prepped for this. Come back to me.
Come back to me.
I could do my 2 minutes. I looked at the baseball standings today because I just kind of want to see where the Brewers sat. And baseball is such a weird sport in the sense of like, I don't know, like a lot of people say and still say like the Cubs are the powerhouse and everything, but yet they're like second in the NL Central, which apparently, if you look at the stats, is like probably the worst, like one of the worst, if not the worst division in baseball right now. They're terrible. Every other league leader has like 40, I don't know why I said that's so weird, 40 wins, and the Brewers are leading ours with like 30. It's just kind of weird. And if you looked at, who's like silently killing the MLB right now is the Astros. They're like 40-14, just ripping wins. They're on a 10-game win streak. Keuchel is leading in ERA, is 7-0.
Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't they? Don't they have the best record in baseball this year?
Yeah, right now they do. But the Yankees came out of nowhere and are pretty good.
That's because Aaron Judge has been playing lights out over the past month and a half.
Yeah, they got the new masher.
But yeah, I was kind of shocked because the Cardinals are always notoriously good, but the thing with the Cardinals is they don't get good until they need to, like end of the season. Cubs, I don't know, maybe just a slump.
Yeah, they're slumping pretty bad.
Like a World Series hangover type thing.
And for them, and it's probably good for them to figure it out now because they're just playing terrible on the road. And you need those road wins later in the season, so they got to figure it out now. And it's better that they have to deal with that adversity now, so that later on, if they want to go for that back-to-back, they know what they got to work on. But also looking at what they did last postseason and then leading up to the beginning of the year, it's like the slump is kind of needed.
I was just gonna say, I think that's such a bring a World Series to the Cubs, such a historic organization after so much time, and the amount of people that came out and just like the events that they had to do. I mean, I can't imagine there's not some kind of like hangover there. It's got to be such a rush for all that. Now you're just back in the season, kind of just grinding, trying to get through it. Not as much heart in it would be my guess. But I'd also like to say the Brewers are killing it for like what they were supposed to be this year. They kind of came out of nowhere with some of the bats they have. I can't imagine if they had a better pitching staff. It'd be phenomenal. I mean, they just played the Dodgers in a 3-game series. Only won 1 game, but like when they pitched Kershaw, that game went into 12 innings and was 1-1. I mean, so the pitching and bats were both there, like to a point. You know what I mean? Like if you can even up with the Dodgers and Kershaw, that's a good game.
I think if they can get a decent closer or at least a decent reliever again, that'll help a lot, because I think that's what kind of hurt them against the Dodgers here, is just pitching late in the games really is what affected them. But ultimately, yeah, going against Kershaw, if you're keeping 1 run, or not keeping 1 run, but if your defense is keeping 1 run against him, you're doing good, because you're not going to expect a lot of runs against him.
No, you won't. You just fight those games off, like low running game.
But you know what they got to do? They got to stick to their old habits and trade the farm for a half the season rental. Watch him walk in the off season.
I don't think the new GM's about that life.
No, he's not. But the Cubs will be fine. They'll get Bryce Harper and they'll be okay. No, you guys saw that. All right, Garb, you got anything? What's seen anything interesting in the last?
Well, my final 2 minutes today is going to probably be different than any other one. Just kind of one, just saying thanks for having me on for the first one and bringing me on to this cast for the future broadcasts. Like I said, I've been listening to what you guys have to say, and I'm excited to talk back and forth with Nate. I know it's going to turn into some pretty nice arguments, and I'm looking forward to that. But ultimately, I think you guys got a good setup, good base here of what's going on, so I'm just happy to kind of bring what I have to the table here and keep going on with what you guys already created. Ultimately, as for sports here, I do think it's a good thing if Vic wants to go back and sign that 1-day deal with the Falcons. When you look at quiet. When you look at him, ultimately, when you look at him and what he did in his career, it's like, yeah, he had a few good seasons there in Philly, but everyone thinks of Mike Vick as a Falcons first. So I think that's just kind of right. I mean, if you have your own idea on it, that's all right. But that's for me. As for the finals here, Cleveland's taken at least game 3 or 4, which as a fan, I kind of hope they do. One of my friends tweeted earlier. He said, "If you're enjoying the way the championship is going right now, you're playing on rookie mode with your creative player at 99." So we got to get a change up here a little bit just to make it a little more interesting. I don't want to see Golden State go through and sweep them. I don't think that's good for the league. But ultimately, we'll find out later this week.
Devastating for the league,
because they were banking on this good, like the finals to be good.
Yeah,
especially because everyone knew it was going to happen anyway, except for me, who actually
I just
predicted the Raptors losing in the finals. But
I just saw them pull up on SportsCenter here that KD and Curry are combined for 131 of the total 245 points for the Warriors. Like, that's insane. And I can't remember what the percentage is, but that's over half simply. And that's just two players should not be carrying a team as well as they are for the NBA to sustain itself in the matter of what fans really want. I mean, it's exciting to see them play, but at the same time, you want to be able to think that any team can go any year and have an impact. And right now they can't.
And imagine, like, rebuilding. Like, how are you ever going to rebuild? Time your player gets good, he's going to go sign with somebody that's already good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not – like, I would be willing to bet there's some type of rule that comes down in the next, like, 4 years. If this is the rate you're going, you'll have, like, the same 5 teams in the NBA Finals every year.
It's going to be Cavs and Warriors for.
Well, not even that. I mean, you have your teams, like the Spurs will be one of them. They just said Chris Paul was highly considering the Spurs if he doesn't get the doesn't stay with the Clippers. But, I mean, you have your teams like that. I mean, I think the Celtics will be one too that people will consider joining. You just have people joining those teams, and then teams like, the Suns or the Nuggets are just gonna die. I think it's bad for the league, but I don't even know how you'd fix it.
But the league's always been that way. It's always been like extremely top heavy. Only 3 or 4 teams with a realistic shot.
Where it is now. I think now it's at a whole new level, top heavy.
And it's slowly it'll change again. I mean, you look at Golden State. I mean, even just 6 years ago, it's like they weren't at this caliber. And a lot of what they originally did, they brought up through the draft. I mean, they did some trades in there, but I mean, they drafted Curry, and it took him a while before he really took over the team as his own. So it'll change, but I don't think it's going to change as fast as we're talking that it needs to change. And looking at, I mean, Milwaukee, no one really wants to play in a smaller market like that, which kind of sucks because you want to think that any team can have a chance, and really at this pace, like you're saying, Mike, there never will be.
Yeah, and then like I've read articles too, that puts a huge market or huge play in the NBA is where you're going to like live and everything. Like South Beach would be awesome, and like that's super coveted place to live, whatnot. And the article actually like kind of hated on Toronto, and said, and I've never been there, but it said like people don't want to go to like a city like Toronto, not because they don't have good fans or anything, just because it's not like a big market you want to live in. As far as like basketball goes, they said the only people that get there are like from Canada as like free agents. And I mean, I'm just saying like not necessarily even that, but you're like Milwaukee or one of the smaller places when you could go to like Golden State or play for the Heat.
Well, on top of that, I think you kind of mentioned early on, it's like basketball is played indoors. So looking at what team you play at, it's like the atmosphere outside of the sport makes a big deal. Where Toronto and Milwaukee, it's like you're up north, you got some pretty harsh winters. Where when you go over to San Francisco, Miami, something like that, like you got a lot nicer weather, you got a lot nicer atmosphere to kind of conduct your life in. So when you're looking at life beyond the sport, it's like, do you want to live in South Beach or do you want to go up to Toronto? So I think that kind of plays an effect on it too, which shouldn't really. I mean, ultimately, I think it's individualized there, but that is one thing I think that some players take into account too is what can I do in the off season? You can do a lot more down in Florida than you can up anywhere up north.
In the sheer matter of like things to do, I mean, I can't imagine the things you could do with that type of money in say South Beach. The things you could versus the things you could do with that type of money in Milwaukee. That's vastly different.
Oh, big time.
What you guys are talking about with Toronto, I mean, it's mostly right, but it's like it's a pretty big market, but it's just not America.
Well, and I'm not saying it's not a big market. That was the wrong word. Just not appealing is what I mean.
It's like there's all these, I guess, stereotypes. I guess Raptors got to deal with, but it's just not an American city, so they don't even get discussed.
Yeah, but if we could just refer to the Raptors as the Craptors, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'll just disregard that one right there.
What's your 2 minutes, little boy?
My 2 minutes, I'm just going to touch on a couple things. Seeing LaShawn McCoy's recruiting the new free agent, Jeremy Macklin, to Buffalo, which I hope happens. Because, I mean, I've always liked Tyrod Taylor. And I think, him with options like McCoy, Macklin, Sammy Watkins, I think they'd be pretty good.
If Sammy Watkins could keep his foot underneath him.
That's true. He just needs to stay healthy. And, finally end that playoff drought. Yeah, I had other things too, but I can't think of them right now. Glad to see Steve Kerr back on the sideline. And a happy belated birthday to number 87, Jordy Nelson.
Well, that's right, the softball game.
The man himself.
Yeah.
Or what was the score, like 27-21, something like that?
27-25 offense. But the defense gave that up, I think, because I have the Packers on Snapchat. I think at one point the defense was up 25-15, and then the offense came back. So I don't know if that's a little bit of Jordy magic there or if the defense just stopped paying attention. I don't know. Randall Cobb did pretty good behind the plate. He did a lot of jawing, a lot of jabbing, a lot of swing and miss stuff. So who knows? But I think that was Demarius Randall defended his title as the home run tramp.
He did, yeah.
Okay, thought so. But yeah, it looked like it was a pretty good event. Raised some good money for some good charities and whatnot. So
which
goes to them.
Like Mike Daniels, like that type of body. And he's obviously got hand-eye coordination. All that dude would need to do is touch the ball. They'd go out of the park.
Well, that's why you got to throw different type pitches. You can't just.
I'm saying for the home run ball. Saying for the home run derby.
Oh, for the home run derby, okay.
You got a little baby corner that can't even play corner winning the home run derby. Maybe you should switch sports.
Ooh.
Maybe you should.
You know, a signing that you probably forgot about that the Packers had? I'm excited to see play, more so even than King, is Devon House coming back.
That's true.
I think he's going to be legit, dude. That's going to help us out. Like, you people are like, thinking like these new corners will, but I think like the biggest addition is going to be Devon House. He's like seasoned and tested and knows the defense, and I think he's going to be great.
Yeah, I think their defense, they better be better.
I think that takes a lot of pressure off Randall and Rollins because they won't be, the only guys in the spotlight, and Gunter will have more help. They're just going to be more.
Just knocking everyone down a peg will help out the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think last year with our defense was just we had to put a lot of young guys in there who I didn't think expected to play at the caliber that they were expected to play at, and it was seen. I mean, during that 4-game losing streak, our corners just got burnt, and as good as our offense was or could have been beyond that, it's like I don't think the young guys knew what to really do, and it was tough just watching like Gunter early on getting burned deep or whatnot, but hopefully they can bring it together. I mean, ultimately for the Packers, outside of back in 2010, really we've always relied on Rodgers' arm, and he'll just do what he has to do. But
well, even then, I wouldn't say outside of 2010. I mean, I feel like they're huge. That was all we do is put more points up than the opposing team. But we were better on defense, but I don't think we were great.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that wasn't that there at the end of the year. Even in the Super Bowl, they were beat up on defense because it was Nick Collins. He was out. Because that was the year.
Nick Collins played. You're talking about the Super Bowl year?
But he got hurt in the game. No, was it?
No, that
was Woodson broke his collarbone
in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, because Collins returned that pick six.
That was already a beat up secondary.
Yeah, but that was back when Clay Matthews still was decent. Ever since that big contract he signed, he's been more.
Why they haven't cut him is beyond me. Or trade him. Trade him for like a 4th-round pick. God, he's slow. He's going to turn into AJ Hawk at the end, where he's just slow and a liability. A huge liability.
Yeah, once he signed that big contract, it was just downhill from there. But.
All right. Anything else you guys got on your mind want to talk about? Take that as a no.
Not really. I was watching a little bit of the Women's College World Series, but I know nothing about the game I watched, so I can't really say much about it.
Nate can go back and forth with you on that right there.
Yeah, Nate'll be ready to go with SEC softball. He was ranting about it for like 20 minutes the other day.
For men or women's? Or is he just going to
It was
cover?
women's.
Women's
All right,
softball.
well,
It was like Minnesota
listen.
versus Florida or something like that.
There was an SEC game, yeah.
I don't know much. I just saw today with Oklahoma was up 4-2 over Oregon, and yeah, I watched the bottom of the sixth. That was it.
Oh, also, I'd like to give a shout out to the PlayStation Store for making NHL 17 $10.
You know, and I haven't even got to play that yet. I downloaded it like a week ago.
I've been playing the hell out of that thing, so shout out to them.
Xbox.
You're still bad money.
I'm better.
I'm better.
I'm better. They just need to make Madden $10 so I could play that too.
You definitely need to get better at Madden. You're trash.
I haven't
I'm
been
thinking about
good
getting
lately.
Rocket League.
Rocket League? I have Rocket League.
Yeah, I know. I played on it, but who knows? Yeah, I don't got much else for this. It was a good first one, so thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in to episode 12.
Nate is officially off his suspension.
Yep, that's right. He'll be back next week. 4-man crew next week. See how that goes. Hopefully it'll be better than the first time around. And follow us on Twitter. Tweet at us. Send us stuff.
Just gonna send it.
Just send stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, just hit me up. Questions, comments, remarks. Tell me I did pretty bad this first one. Let me know. I'm looking about making this better.
Garb loves getting his phone blown up, so just tweet at him with anything you got.
Go ahead.
See you next week.